Welcome to Mikes and Mayhem with Jenna and Maddie Morrow.
I'm Jenna. I forgot what I was going to say.
Let's just leave it in. Continue.
And I'm Maddie, the vampire of the blue moon. And I secretly took what you were going to say and you just didn't know it.
Oh, thank you. That makes me sound more prepared. Oh, that's why it is called Mikes and Mayhem, folks.
Yep. So we are going to be discussing the Doctor Who episode titled Rogue. And I will just say this right now. This is my favorite episode of the season so far.
Oh, okay. You're jumping right into it here. So of course we're going to be talking plot and spoilers. So if you haven't seen this episode yet, you might not want to watch this video, and just give us a save, a bookmark, and come back once you have, because this is an episode you do not want to miss.
I have been waiting for the Jonathan Groff episode since he was
actually
announced.
It's actually the title. It's called Doctor Who: the Jonathan Groff episode.
Yeah, the title Rogue is just something I made up. That's not actually the title. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I feel like this is every week with every Doctor Who episode. Like, I don't even know where to jump in first, because like so much happens and there's so many things to talk about that it's like, where do you even start?
Well, it's wibbly wobbly, so if we don't go in order from start to finish, that's okay, because that's Doctor Who. We just jump in, and I love it when the Doctor wears period appropriate clothing. Like, part of me is a little sad that we don't have a signature look for 15. Like, all the other Doctors have their outfit, right? But I also kind of love that he changes his clothes all the time. Like, the Doctor has this massive wardrobe in the TARDIS, like, that they hardly ever use. And so I like to think that 15 finally went, you know what? I'm going to use it.
Yeah, I agree. And it kind of it plays along with this soft reboot that's going on with this season, and that he's more of like a modern Doctor. He's like, his clothes are, when I say modern, like 2024. Like, I mean, obviously it's about time travel, so modern is relative, but it's more like he's a doctor of a millennial doctor. He has clothes that are like normal for every day. There was even in this episode music, like the Kylie Minogue, I think was the song that was playing, and the D&D dice. So a lot of things harken to like things that are popular in the early 2000s and now. So I think that's a big part of Ncuti's Doctor.
Oh yeah, 100%. I love it so much, and those two little, not even little, like those two details that you just brought up, like I actually wrote down in my notes, because I was like, oh my gosh, the D&D reference, like Dungeons and Dragons reference right here, and then the Kylie song, because she was in an episode of Doctor Who, with the 10th Doctor.
I forgot about that. She
was on the Titanic.
Yeah, she was the Titanic. I completely forgot that she was on that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes it so much better now. Like, I just thought it was fun because it was like, it's a really good song and it was cool to hear it. And then I didn't even put it together that she was on that episode. I forgot completely.
Yeah, it was really, really fun I was like, hey, so like I recognized the song, right? And I was like, okay, this song sounds familiar, but just because of the, lyrics or whatever. And then I went and watched or listened to, other people talk about it or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, that makes more sense for the song choice. Like, it's perfect.
That was cute. It was cute. And I actually, I have to say, I was surprised that, like, I didn't know, obviously, when you don't know what the title is going to refer to when you just get the titles for the episode. So I didn't know that, like, the character himself was going to be named Rogue, like Jonathan Groff's character. And then, like, when they pointed out that he's named for D&D, I was like, oh my God, this is like, I thought that was so fun. So much fun.
Oh yeah. It was so clever. And I just, The chemistry between Rogue and the Doctor from the get-go was I was squeal there was a lot of squealing involved in this episode. Like, I was swooning and squealing. But like when they were trying to figure out who was the shapeshifter and they both were like, "It's you." "No, it's you. It's you." I was like, "This is so cute." They're standing here pointing fingers.
They were super cute, and oh, there was something else I was gonna say about that part. Oh, the shapeshifter thing. How when Rogue has the Doctor like imprisoned or like stuck
Mhm.
on his spaceship, and the Doctor's like, "Look, I'm something different," and then you see all the past iterations of the Doctors come past. I was like. Talk about squee. I was like, "Oh, look,
Yeah.
David Tennant!" Like, "Oh, that's David." As I'll get excited and I smack my stuff because of David Tennant. Um,
Yes.
but all the Doctors coming past was really fun to see too.
Yeah, that was really cool. And I love the running joke. So in that scene, right, like the doctor's trying to like use his sonic and he can't. And then he's trying to like threaten Rogue with it because that's what the doctor does because he thinks, that if he just shows it off, people will listen to him. And Rogue was like, "This my ship would have registered that as a weapon." And he was like, "It's a screwdriver. What are you gonna do? Build a shelf?" And I just love that running joke in Doctor Who that like they have this sonic screwdriver and it does so many things, but like other people are like, what are you gonna do with a screwdriver?" Like, what? Like, he's like, "Are you gonna build a shelf?" And it just made me think of the 50th anniversary episode where both 11 and 10 are pointing their sonics, and the War Doctor's like, "Are you gonna build a cabinet at them?"
Oh my god, I that was really cute, and, like, all his Sonic could do was play music, like, it
Yeah,
couldn't do
that
anything.
was that was really fun though when he just like turning it on and off, on and off. I was like, "Okay, this is so much fun."
He was just being a real butthead, and it was great. It was so fun to see, and, like, his little dancing, like, he's Ncuti
Oh
is
my
just
gosh.
I wanna be his best friend, like, I just love him so much.
Yeah, it was great. But speaking of those like iterations of the Doctor, the Temple of Geek Who review pointed out that Richard E. Grant's face was in the rendition of the Doctors, like all the things floating around, and he is I don't remember what they called him, but he was like a comic book version or an audiobook version of the Doctor that is now considered canon.
Cool.
Mhm.
That's and well, I saw they also included, oh my gosh, with The Fugitive Doctor, and I was like,
Ruth, yeah.
"Oh, well, yeah, because she's canon too." Like, I was really
Yeah.
happy to see that they included her and didn't just go, numerical, 1
Mhm.
through 15, 14, whatever.
Yeah.
That was really cute.
Yeah.
But
It
I
was
I
really cool.
purposely I purposely haven't listened to Who Review yet because I'm like, I don't wanna accidentally say anything that they did because I have a lot to say about Rogue, and my number one thing is, I immediately texted our friend Monica after I watched it, and I was like, is it me or is is Rogue Jack Harkness light TM?" That's what I he's literally Jack Harkness light, like, it's like, again, because this is kind of like a soft reboot and it's coming at you assuming that you haven't watched any Doctor Who, but, like, if you have, cool, you'll catch these things. But if you haven't, it's giving you, like, the classic Doctor Who experience and including, like, a Jack Harkness-like character. Like, Rogue is Jack Harkness for 2024, where they can finally lean into the the queer chaos, right?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but like he's Jack Harkness light, but I guess that means he's a little less chaotic because Jack is chaos incarnate. Like, let's be real here. But like Rogue to me it feels like he has like real like not to say Jack Harkness didn't have conviction, but Rogue had conviction. Like he was doing something with, more of a purpose. Which I love that the doctor clocked like immediately. He was like, "You're just like me. You lost someone or a lot of someone's. Like that's why you're so, hell bent on making sure that other people stay safe, right?" Um But yeah, I can agree that Rogue is Jack Harkness light.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna trademark it because it's it's so true. He is, especially even his outfit,
Yeah,
is very Jack Harkness-y. It was, with the blue, that's Jack's color. Like he has that blue coat and everything. But
the
I
big
think the
messy
difference
ship.
too, the big messy ship, yeah, he's like it's Jack for a new generation kind of. Um, but Jack, I feel like doesn't always like do things right. Like he's not always successful because he's kind of a mess. But Rogue, he's a bounty hunter and he's obviously very good at what he does. Um, so he's like a more competent version and a little bit, I guess, of a darker side. Not bad dark, but like a sadder side is what it is. Because clearly he lost the person he loved.
I adored him throughout the whole episode. The the psychic paper too. I'm really
Oh my
glad
god.
we saw the psychic paper. And my notes, I wrote in all caps, help the flirting, quote, you're hot. Like like when he's holding up the psychic paper, like it's supposed to say like who he is or like convince the person reading it of who he is or what he does. We've seen the psychic paper fail several times, like
Oh, like all the time. It like
all the
almost
time,
never works.
all the time. And this time, Rogue was like, "This just says you're hot." He's like, "Wait, I'm hot or you're hot?" And I was like, "This is what I've been waiting for." Like, I was really hoping that when I saw Jonathan Groff announced in this series, I was like, he better. I need him to be a love interest. Like, I need him to be a love interest for the Doctor. And then lo and behold, here we go. I screamed "Now kiss" when they were in the yelled at
Oh
my
my goodness.
TV.
Speaking of that moment, like I loved his introduction to the TARDIS, Rogue's introduction, and like just
Yes.
just like the Doctor waiting outside, knowing that he's gonna like flip out because it's bigger on the inside. But I loved Rogue's reaction because it wasn't the classic, he didn't pop his head out and like he was like, "Oh my god!" You just hear him screaming
Yes, he
and
was.
running around.
Yes, it was so precious because I feel like most of the companions just kind of like walk in slowly and they're like looking around. But he was like, "Oh my gosh, it has this." And he was like a kid in a candy store. He was like, "Oh, and you have this, and the TARDIS does this and this." And he's like buzzing around and he was just so excited about it. I was like, "Oh," and the Doctor's just like sitting back. He's like, "Yeah, that's right, handsome alien man. Like this is this is my ship."
And it's funny because I was watching it and thinking to myself, like, I don't know anything about, like, if Jonathan Groff has been a fan of Doctor Who, or I don't know, like, anything about that, but as I was watching it, to me, I was like, "That would be me if I were on the set of this show and got to, like, walk into the TARDIS." You wouldn't even have to get me to act because I would be, like, so overwhelmed and excited. So I really do wonder if Jonathan Groff also has been, like, a fan of Doctor Who, because, like, that's such a cool moment for actor and character.
That's something that we should look up. I feel like or like if they did an interview with him or something, like that would be really cool to figure out. I feel like if you are hired onto Doctor Who, you've seen at least an episode. Like I don't think anyone who's ever been cast on Doctor Who, as far as I know, doesn't know anything about it. Like I feel like if you're going to audition for a show that's been around for 60 years, you should know something.
Right, and for the most part, every British person ever to exist has been on Doctor Who, and
Right.
from my knowledge, every British person ever knows everything about Doctor Who. I think that's just the truth.
Right. But Jonathan Groff is American, right?
Yeah, but I was, talking about the other
Oh, yeah.
the other folk.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, that would be really
Yes.
cool. Um, okay, but one of the things the Doctor said to Rogue just like made my eyes well up. Like when he realized that Rogue had lost someone, he said, "We have to live each day because they can't."
Yeah, that was
And
sad.
it was so sad, and you just can tell that the doctor in that moment was, like, thinking about his past companions, the people he couldn't save, his he has a lot of that, and so for this doctor has been saying stuff like that a lot this season, like, "We have to move forward, like, we can't," you know, it's like, I think it's like you said, because it's a new, like, a soft restart of Doctor Who, it's giving audiences that, like, glimpse into the Doctor has been through so much that the only way they can keep moving forward is reminding themselves to keep moving forward. Because, yeah, they have their companion, but, like, at the end of the day, they've conditioned themselves to know that the companions aren't forever, so they have to, like,
They have to
remember
move
that.
on and
Yeah.
keep going.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that to me, when he said that, harkened back to this whole season of how he's been talking about his children. So,
Mhm.
again, I thought of that. I'm like, is that what's, you know, behind his thoughts? Because he keeps talking about that he lost his children, he lost his children, he lost his grandchildren, he was a father. So I'm curious, like, again, I want to see this come up somehow. Like, they're not going to continually mention this whole aspect of him having children and having been a parent if it's not going to somehow come back, in the next 2 episodes. I think there's only like 2 left.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and that whole idea of like moving forward is brought into the plot with when you think Ruby has been killed. And honestly,
Yeah.
like, I knew she's logistically still going to be on the show, but I was like, like, dude, how are they gonna get around this? Like, I really thought something happened to her.
Yeah, me too. So, these, like, weird bird shapeshifter things, I know they mentioned what they were called, but I don't remember what they were called.
Yeah.
Um, they were, like, zapping all these people and cosplaying, which I can we
Oh,
talk about that for a minute real quick before we get into
yes.
Ruby? Because as Jenna and I are cosplayers,
And it was the
like
whole plot, like, the whole
yeah, and it
was
it was it was the
cosplay.
whole plot, and they actually explained what cosplay is, like, it's dressing up and acting out as, a favorite character of yours or, something, and I was just like, "This is phenomenal." Like, I can't believe the entire plot of this episode really was about cosplay, and
Even the
I'm
aliens, like, the birds said it. The birds were like, "We're cosplaying." So, like, and that made me laugh because 'cause I'm like, "That's hilarious," because even these sentient alien creatures, their culture is they know cosplay. They know the term and what it is.
yeah, cosplay extends through the universe apparently. Um, but yeah,
As it
and then
should.
when it should 100%. And then so when you think Ruby is taken over by these little creatures, when we see them shapeshift, they do this weird thing with their neck, like almost like it reminded me of Men in Black when the aliens trying to like fit inside the human body, right? Um, and so Ruby does it. She like goes like this. And so you think, oh, yeah, like the creature took her over, right? Um, and then she said, I was cosplaying. And I'm like,
Yep.
Ruby. She wore the earrings and she put them in battle mode. Is that what it was called? Like battle mode. He said,
Yeah.
don't turn it on to like battle mode. And she like ended up doing that and was fighting off the creature. Um, phenomenal. Amazing.
Yeah, it reminded me of, Spider-Man, how he has they're like, "Don't activate instant kill." He
Yes.
activates it. But yeah, I honestly was trying to figure out how they were gonna, like, I'm like, if they actually killed Ruby off, like, what are they gonna do? Like, is obviously Millie's still gonna be on, but is she gonna be Ruby? I really did not know what was gonna happen. And then, at the end, Jack Harkness Light TM saves the day by jumping in and pushing Ruby out of the trap. And I like that he said, "Come find me," because obviously, like, is he gonna be like a regular going forward in the next season? Because he kind of has also not just like a Jack-esque way about him, but River. Like, it's kind of reminds me of River. Um So I'm like, that would be really cool if Doctor and Ruby go find him and we have this like maybe he doesn't have to travel with them. Like, River doesn't always travel with the Doctor, but she's in and out of his life as someone important. So I would love, love, love to see that from Jonathan Groff. Like, please put him on the show regularly.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It wouldn't be a review of Doctor Who if I didn't sit here and say how much I adore Ncuti's acting,
Oh,
because
so
in that
good.
moment when he realizes that it is Ruby, and then they like flash back to the conversation he had with her mom, and
Oh my God.
oh my
Cries.
gosh, he was just like, I can't sacrifice her for the rest of the world. Like, their friendship just is so pure. And then the moment with Rogue, I was squealing like when I knew he was going to do something when he was like getting closer to the Doctor, and then they kissed and I was screeching. I was like, "Yay!" And then I was like, "Oh, wait a minute." Like I was like, something is coming, whether he's going to press the button for the Doctor or he's going to do something. And then sure enough, he like sacrifices himself and like throws himself into the trap. But yeah, I need more of him because I didn't even like I caught the Jack Harkness like,
It's very
not
overt,
references,
the
but
Jack Harkness
yeah, yeah, yeah.
is
But
ness.
hearing, yes, Jack Harknessness,
Yes, the Jack Harknessness.
yeah, yeah. But you're right. Like now that I think about it, he did have a lot of like River Song vibes to him too. Um, like the really easy like flirting between the two of them. Like it was very clever, the way that they spoke to each other. And it was just absolutely phenomenal.
Right, and River and the Doctor always have such clever quips between them. It's just so feisty and, like,
Mhm.
just really, really cute at the same time, and that's what this reminded me of as well. I was like, they're giving you a little taste of River Song, they're giving you a little taste of Jack Harkness, which is actually, like, an amazing character for Jonathan Groff to play because imagine, like, being those 2 amazing characters kinda rolled into one as Rogue like that. I don't think it gets much better, especially River. I have a very special place in my heart for River Song. So,
Yes.
but I'm curious to see, how the Doctor goes about finding him, but, like, honestly, I personally think it won't be something that we see as a plot point until season 2 because there's only 2 episodes left, and the more pressing information or the more pressing plot line here is Ruby. Like, this is what we've been building up to, is what's the deal with Ruby? What's the deal with this old lady who keeps popping up? Like, so that's the thing that's going to be focused on. But now we have in the back of our head that, Rogue is out there and he's trapped with these bird monsters wherever, in whatever dimension he's in. So I would love to see that as a season 2 plotline.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has the ring. So I have a feeling the ring is going to help him because he's used objects like that in the TARDIS before to find people or to scan and to figure things out. So I'm really hoping that that ring was actually Rogue's and not something that like was left behind by someone he took into custody or something. Yeah, I need to see him again, but the old lady appearance in this one was really clever. It was the painting on the wall. Um and
She freaks
then the
me
doc
out. I don't want to see her anymore. She freaks me out.
yeah, I was like, "Oh, there she is." Like it was more obvious this time. So like she's been in all of the other episodes, but nothing's really been said about it. But this time the Doctor was like, "Who is that? Like who is that?" And then they kind of just gave like "Oh, she's such and such of this house or whatever." And the Doctor's like, I don't think so." But he just
Yeah,
like
because in
left it at
the
that.
Yeah, because in the last one, in, Dot and Bubble, is the first time that you see the Doctor and Ruby go, "Wait a minute, we've seen this lady before." It's the first time that there's any recognition that she's been, crossing their paths, and then now in this one, it's more now that they have it in their head, they're like, "Wait," like you said, they're like, "Hold up.
Mhm.
what's going on here? So, and then the preview for next week obviously looks like it's going to deal strictly with that because the doctor says, or Ruby, one of the two of them was like, she keeps showing up throughout like our whole timeline. What's going on here? So that's where we're going. Um, but yeah, I need to know. I've been saying that in every review. Like, I need to know who this lady is.
Yeah, for sure. We had the themes of loss and music again in this one. With the leaning into the whole Bridgerton obsession, like good on Doctor Who, man. Like just full on leaning into as I don't know how Bridgerton like is, you know, in other countries, but I know like all over the internet, at least here, everyone is obsessed with it. So to just have a whole episode that was like, we're gonna cosplay from Bridgerton, like
Two of the
with the
biggest pop
music,
culture things.
with like the music and everything. Like when Ruby was fighting the shapeshifter, they were playing like a string quartet, like a stringed version of Poker Face by Lady Gaga. And
That
this is
was so good.
so clever. And that's like this episode again, like I said earlier, was probably my favorite so far. Not to say obviously I loved all the other episodes. Like every episode has been really good. But this one just like I haven't squealed about Doctor Who like getting like giddy about stuff in a long time. And that's also why like I need Rogue to come back in season 2 somehow. Even if he's only in like one or two episodes, like the doctor needs that closure. Like
Right.
I need it.
Yeah, I think that it would make sense if if this episode was meant as a like soft entrance into a plot for season 2 because like I said it's not going to happen in the next two episodes, but
Mhm.
it's setting up that there's more to come. This Ncuti isn't done with his adventures, and this is how it could continue. Now we have season 2. Like, are we going to find him? What's going on? Since I think they're going to wrap up the mystery of Ruby Sunday in the next 2 weeks. Because I think there's
Yeah.
one episode called like the mystery of Ruby Sunday,
The
like the last
legend.
episode,
The legend.
the
Yeah.
legend of Ruby Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting, especially now that, like you said, with the episode preview of like who is this woman we've been seeing? She's obviously connected to Ruby. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
at this point, like she's someone to Ruby. And I am really excited to see it all like unveiled. But I know that like we're gonna get some huge revelation next week, and then it's gonna end. And then we have to wait for the finale. Like it's gonna be like, oh my god, and then
one more episode. Yep.
one more episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely adore Millie and I love her and must protect her and want more of her. She's just the cutest thing and she's so talented beyond her years. Like I completely forget she's like a teenager. She's what, 19 years old? She's a baby.
Is she?
She she's 19 years old.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, she has such a presence about her that's more mature and, like, not to say that, like, there's anything wrong with having a 19-year-old companion, but
Right.
Millie just, like, has this way about her that's just way beyond her years, and I just adore her and think she's so talented, and I love Ruby so much.
Yeah, I do too. I think she's phenomenal. She was definitely a phenomenal choice to play the role of the companion. From the get-go, Ruby and the doctor's chemistry has just been phenomenal. Um, and I'm really glad that we get 2 seasons with them. Because
I hope more.
I don't think so. I think she's only signed on for 2 seasons. But I feel like that's kinda standard for companions is 2 seasons. Um, I'm trying to
Yeah, I think
think
they
back.
like will like they'll extend like depending. They might have only just done 2 logistically, like they didn't know what was gonna happen, like they just a standard 2-year contract because some of them do stay longer, but it probably just is something to do with like, let's see how it goes and who knows what's gonna happen. But I hope we see more because they're just so good together. The two of them are great together, and they're fantastic individually as well.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I just adore the 15's run like already, and I can't wait
So
to see
good.
what other outfits he wears.
I know his fits are so great, and I also loved his hair in this one because he had like the long kind of like the period hair,
Yeah,
and it was like the 1800s, right? And he had
yeah.
his little like tiny little ponytail. I'm like, it looks
Mhm.
so cute. He's so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, it was really sweet. And I loved when like they were like, we need to like get their attention. And Rogue was like, how? And he was like, well, we're two men dancing in the 1800s. Like, it's gonna get their attention. Like, this is
It's like you
what,
obviously haven't read up on this time period.
right? Yeah. it
It was
was
great.
it was really great. And the drama in that moment where the doctor was like, just say anything. I think he was expecting Rogue to like yell back as like he's pretending to like end things with him, right? He's like screaming in his face and yelling at him, and then he gets down on one knee. And I knew obviously it was just all drama. Um, but then it just I was squealing. It was so cute. And then like the take my hand and run, like when I was
Yes.
like, he's like, hey, that's what I'm supposed to say. And I was like, oh, and he beat you to it. Like
And
for me,
even like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say that, like, now that you have put it in my head that he has like some similarities to River, that makes me think very like River. I feel like River would have been like run, and he'd like, hey, that's my line.
Yeah, it's more. I was just gonna say that. Whereas in that moment where they're like having this fake big fight in the middle of the dance floor, if you want to make the comparison that Rogue is Jack Harkness like light, um, Jack would have went along completely because he's a drama queen. Like Jack is over the top, ridiculous, and would have been completely in. And Rogue wasn't like that, and that's like where there would be a difference between the two of them, but it is very River. It is very River. Like let's run and let's figure this out. So I love seeing that. I loved it. And
Yeah,
I loved when he, again, going back to like when Rogue goes into the TARDIS. I love that he's like running around and the TARDIS is groaning because we haven't seen the TARDIS have personality really yet, like this season. So I love that she was like, "Arr," and the doctor's like, oh, she just doesn't like morally gray people. Like, I loved seeing the TARDIS as a character unto itself. It's great.
that was really, really fun. And I just love that like the doctor has extended traveling with him like to just about everyone he's met so far. Um, and it's very sweet. It's really great.
Even
But
racists.
yeah. It's just the last
Even
time,
the
yeah.
racists.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I was gonna say this time, he would have been way more excited to travel with Rogue than to just, like, throw a bunch of people in the TARDIS.
Yeah, we need like an Avengers all-star cast of the people that he's offered travel to, because too bad what's his name? Ricky
Ricky
September
September.
died, because he would have been great. Throw in Rogue, throw in like throw in
Yeah,
all these like throw in Kate. I love Kate. Let's bring her in.
right. Well, we've only seen the TARDIS being flown by the amount of people it's supposed to be flown by, like, once, at least in New Who. Um, so, it would be kinda cool if we saw that again. I'm not expecting it because it was just
No.
kind of something that happened with the 10th Doctor. But, to have, yeah, Kate and Rogue and, you know, whoever else wants to be thrown in there, Ruby's mom.
Has Kate
Like,
been has Kate been in? I don't think we've seen Kate actually fly in the TARDIS. Like, she's obviously seen the TARDIS and everything, but I don't think she's been in
she's
it when it's
craned
been
it in.
traveling.
Like, she's
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all she's
yeah,
done.
yeah,
We need
I
Kate
don't
on the TARDIS.
yeah.
I just adore her, and I'm excited that we're going to see her again next episode, because every time I see Kate, I'm like, oh, like I don't know what it is about her that I love so much.
Yeah. I'm curious if they'll bring up what happened in 73 Yards or not.
Yeah, well,
Well,
I wonder if they even remember, because it was like an alternate timeline. So I'm curious to see. I don't
true.
even think Ruby remembers, because at the end she was like, "Oh, I've been to where were they? Were Wales? I don't remember. I think they were in
Yeah,
Wales." When she's like, "I've been to Wales 3 times," and named the two, and then the third time she's like, "Wait a minute!" Like, she couldn't remember the third time because it was the alternate timeline. So I'm curious to
true.
see. because I'm curious to see what happens with that. And wouldn't it be wild if the old lady in 73 Yards was this old lady again, this like recurring creepy lady?
Recurring woman. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, we have 2 episodes left, so let's see where we go.
I'm so excited. I'm not ready, but I'm ready. Like, I don't want it to end, but I need to know things.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like I want it to end only because I want answers, not because I want to stop watching. I want more, but I want to know. Tell me what's going on.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah, so I think that's everything. I think that's everything about Rogue, right? We would just want more of the actual character of Rogue, but that's everything, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we covered everything. Life has been kind of cray-cray, so we've just been Doctor Whoing for a little bit. But we appreciate you guys watching. For those of you who are subscribed to us, thank you. If you are not, you are missing out on the mayhem. So like and subscribe, support us, and we appreciate it very much.
Yeah, and you will see more mayhem to come. Especially next month, we have some fun things that are coming up, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for watching.